Integers, Part 3. In today's lesson, students will learn how to visually represent the addition of integers using Algeblocks. Using what? Very good. You've learned how to add integers using a number line. And a number line is one way to visually represent the addition of integers. Another way to represent it using pictures is called Algeblocks. It's called what? Algeblocks. Okay? So in order to understand Algeblocks, you must know what a zero pair is. You must know what a zero pair is. So a zero pair, let's write the word zero. Okay. Is going to be a pair of. You're going to have negative. You're going to have a negative. Write the word negative. And a positive number. Okay, so negative is usually red, positive I'll write in blue. Okay, so a zero pair is a pair of negative and positive numbers. It's the same number. It's the what? It's the same number. The only difference is that one is positive and one is negative. Okay, if you add those integers or those numbers together, okay, another word for add is sum. It's what? Sum. Okay. If you add them together, the sum, write sum, please, is zero. The sum is what? Zero. And that's why it's called a zero pair. So go ahead and get this down. Okay. All right. Now here's the example. If I have a positive 2, and how do I know it's positive? There's no sign in front of it. If it's invisible, this is really a positive 2. Okay. If I have a positive 2, and then I'm trying to add a negative 2. So again, I'm finding the sum of positive 2 and negative 2. What do you think the sum is? What is the sum? What is it? It's 0, isn't it? Yes, it's 0. And the reason being is that you have a positive 2 and a negative 2. Do they have different signs or the same signs? They're different, right? One is negative and one is positive. Well, you know that you have to do different signs, subtract. So this is really saying 2 minus 2. Whenever you have a positive number and a negative number, but they are actually the same number, the answer is always 0, and that's why it's called a zero pair. Now we're going to add some integers using Algeblocks. And with an Algeblock board, you have the left side is negative. What do you think about the right side? Positive to the right, right? Okay, so on the left side you have all of the negative integers. On the right side, you have the positive integers. On the left is what? Negative. On the right is what? Positive. Okay, and so each integer we're going to represent as a circle. We're going to represent as what? A circle, okay, or a marker, okay? So if I have 3 plus 1, is that a positive 3? Is it positive 3? Yes. So what you're going to do on the Algeblock board, okay, is that I want you to draw your circles next to the line in the middle. Always draw it next to the line in the middle. Okay, so watch. If I have 3 positive integers and I actually want to add one more, I'm going to put one more circle on the positive side. And how many circles do I have? How many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what sign would they be? They would be positive. So we know that 3 plus 1 is 4 because of the fact that it is same signs, add and keep, right? Positive 3 and positive 1, add it, makes a positive 4. You kept the positive, okay? Go ahead and circle your answer. Get that down. Okay, in the next example, read it with me. It says -3 plus a -1. Okay, so we have -3 to begin with, so we're going to go ahead and put -3 circles, put it close to the line. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, okay? So we have -3, but now we want to add, which means we want to put one more negative circle on the negative side, okay? So we're going to add one more negative. And so what is the answer? How many negative circles do we have now? How many negative circles do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So here the answer is -4. Okay? And this is because -3 and -1 are the same sign, right? They're the same. They're both negative. They're both on the negative side. So we say same signs, add and keep, right? We added 3 plus 1, and then we kept the negative because they're both negative. Let's look at an example where you have a negative integer and a positive integer. Now this is where it becomes very important to draw your circles in the middle of the board. Where? In the middle of the board, okay? So you have -3. So how many circles will you draw? 3. And what side will they be on? Negative to the left. So we have -3. Let's draw them right in the center. We're going to say 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're trying to add 1. And the 1 is it positive or negative? It's blue, right? It's positive. So we're actually going to add 1 circle to the right, but we're going to make a 0 pair. And a 0 pair are where 2 circles are going to touch, and they're going to cancel out. They're going to do what? Cancel out. So you're actually going to cross them out. So watch. If I put a +1 right here, if there are 2 circles next to each other, like this, it's saying -1 and +1. What do they make? They make 0. They make what? 0, right? +1 and -1. So you're going to cross these out. Okay? Yes? Cross them out because they're touching and they cancel out or they make 0. What is left? What is left? You have 2 circles. On which side? The negative side. Okay? So that's why this is -2. Does that make sense? You have 2 circles left. They're on the negative side. Now, if I were to solve this the way that we solved it last week, you have a negative and a positive. Are those different signs? Are they? So you say different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So if you said 3 minus 1, okay? If you said 3 minus 1, and I wrote it up and down, like we normally do, 3 minus 1. Remember, you're subtracting, and what is the sign of the higher number? Look, the higher number, if these did not have signs and you took the absolute value, the higher number would be 3. So you would keep that negative and subtract to find -2. Okay, makes sense? In our last example, read it with me, it says +3 plus a -1. Now this is a positive, right? Even though you do not see a positive sign, you could put a positive sign to help you. So we're going to start with +3 circles. Positive to the right, and you're going to draw it in the middle. Okay, this is a +3 and a -1. Do they have the same signs or different signs? They're different, right? So because you have a positive and a negative, I will go ahead and tell you there will be 0 pairs. You have to figure out how many 0 pairs there are going to be. So start with +3. You're going to put +3 circles, 1, 2, and 3. Then you have -1, but you're going to add a -1 circle to the left. To the what? To the left. So you want to make a 0 pair. You want to make what? A 0 pair. That's when the circles are touching and then they cancel out. They do what? Cancel out, and you have to cross them out. So I'm going to go ahead and add a -1 circle over here. Now, do we have 2 circles touching? Yes? This is called a 0 pair. It's called a what? a zero pair. So we cross them out like this, and we ask ourselves, how many circles are left, and on what side are they on? You have how many? 2 circles on the right. So that's what? It's positive, what's the answer? Positive 2. Very good. Now, to check our answer, we use what we know about adding integers, the song. If you know that these are different signs, yeah? Positive 3, negative 1. You say, different signs subtract, keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So you have a positive 3 and a negative 1. What's the higher number? 3 or 1? It's 3. And what is the sign that is next to 3? It's a positive. It's a what? Positive. So you say, okay, I know I have to subtract because they're different signs. But I'm going to keep the sign of the higher number, which is a positive. And when I subtract 3, take away 1, I get 2. And so our answer is correct. Go ahead and get that down. And now you'll try some examples on your own.